you would have to be a fanboy of monumental proportions to be defending this Tyson Fury Derek Chisora trilogy fight. It is not acceptable as a world heavyweight title defense on any level. And all the crap that Bob Arum, Fury himself, and Frank Warren are coming out with is laughable in terms of trying to defend this. And all the fanboys out there trying to defend it as well, again, ditto for you. Talking rubbish, the lot of you. So here we have the top 15 in the WBC Heavyweight Rankings. Frank Warren is suggesting that they've looked through the whole of the top 15 and they found that no one else was available other than Derek Chisora. I find that impossible to believe. I seriously doubt that many of these fighters were even approached about fighting Tyson Fury in December. And why does it have to be December 3rd? You could move the date, move the venue, have it somewhere else if the will was there to do so. But no, the will was only there to fight Derek Chisora. There was no intention of ever fighting a Frank Sanchez, a Makhmudov, a Bacoli, a Michael Hunter, or a Filip Hrgovic. That's my contention. There was never even for a split second in the mind of Tyson Fury, Bob Arum, or Frank Warren the intention of fighting any of those guys. And that's why I certainly do not believe that any of them were approached in any serious way to fight Tyson Fury in December. Okay, so again, Andy Ruiz, maybe he wouldn't be ready for December 3rd. I'm willing to believe that because he said words to that effect in recent interviews. But again, if you want to fight him, you can just push it back and he's going to take the fight because, yeah, he's got this Deontay Wilder thing. But this is a shot at the WBC heavyweight title. This is where he's trying to get anyway. So I'm sure he would be happy to skip that Deontay Wilder fight and just go straight to the title shot. Like, why not? It makes perfect sense. So if they came up with a more favorable date for him, I'm sure he would take the fight in a heartbeat next. But of course, Tyson Fury will argue, well, he's going to fight Usyk in early 2023. So if he had to push it back to accommodate Andy Ruiz, he'd also be pushing back the undisputed fight. Then you got Frank Sanchez. I mean, this is a guy who, unlike many Cuban heavyweights in the past, is on it like a car bonnet 24/7, 365. This is a professional. This guy stays in shape. The idea that Frank Sanchez is going to turn down a Tyson Fury fight, I mean, I find that very hard to believe. If they'd offered Frank Sanchez the bout, I reckon he'd take it. But I don't think he's been offered the bout. Makhmudov, I'm sure he would, he's only 15-0, but, it's still better seeing Fury against Makhmudov, a 15-0 fighter who Tyson Fury's never fought before, rather than seeing him fight a guy he's already beaten convincingly twice. And I'll come into that more in a second. Now, yes, Anthony Joshua ducked Tyson Fury, but Anthony Joshua's coming off 2 losses. Why are you so desperate to fight a guy coming off 2 losses when there are so many other fighters coming off wins? Do you know what I mean? Like, what's that all about? Fury is just looking at the money. He is trying to maximize money and minimize risk in between these mandatory title defenses and stuff like that. He doesn't want to go through every fighter in the division. He's not interested. He's only interested in the big, huge fights. And in between that, he's going to fill it in with a load of easy fights. That's his approach and that's his philosophy, because he understands that boxing is a numbers game. If you fight everybody, eventually you're going to take an L. If Tyson Fury doesn't also believe that, then what's the explanation for him doing what he's doing right now? So anyway, you've also got Martin Bacoli. I'm sure he would fight Tyson Fury in a heartbeat, UK-based. I think he sparred Tyson Fury a lot. By the way, I really should say something about Martin Bacoli's trainer and manager. God, I forget his name now. Billy Nelson, excuse me. Billy Nelson. So, Billy Nelson, let me just adjust myself here. Billy Nelson was recently expressing his outrage and disgust at the Chris Eubank Jr. Conor Benn fight because of the catch weight and all this other stuff. You know, Conor Benn having to come up several weight divisions against a much bigger man, and Eubank being drained. He was basically talking about how unethical it all is. And then, you know, after the fight, after the PED thing, even more so. But Billy Nelson, I got to throw a red flag on the guy. Because during Martin Bakoli's fight against Michael Hunter, where Bakoli, of course, gets stopped, Bakoli tried to quit in that fight in the corner. And you can still watch the fight online. And you can hear very clearly Bakoli saying he wants to quit. And his trainer manager, Mr. Billy Nelson, doesn't allow him to quit. He virtually forces Bakoli out for the next round. No, you're not going to quit. No. When a fighter is telling you that he wants to quit, that means he's distressed. You're supposed to protect the fighter. If I'm in a fighter's corner and he tells me he wants to quit, then I'm pulling him out the fight. Because I don't know what he's feeling. He might have, issues in his head, neurological problems, because of the punches he's taken in the fight. The last thing I'm going to do when a fighter tells me he wants to quit is send him back in. But that's exactly what Billy Nelson did. So I really got to throw a red flag on that guy. Coming out acting like he cares so much about the welfare of the fighters when he didn't listen to his own fighter when he was distressed. And of course, Martin Bakoli got stopped very shortly after that against Michael Hunter. But anyway, he has come back and he's put some wins together, particularly his last fight against, Tony Yoka, nearly forgot his name as well. Last fight against the Olympian Tony Yoka was a very, very good performance. That's the best I've ever seen Martin Bakoli perform. Prior to that, I wasn't overly impressed with Bakoli, but still, this is a heavyweight who Tyson Fury hasn't been in the ring with before, who's got different skills to Derek Chisora, who's a taller fighter than Derek Chisora, So let's see something different. Let's not see Fury Chisora 3. Then, of course, we've got Michael Hunter, who I still think is a dark horse in the division. His fight with Hughie Fury fell through. Why not offer him the fight? I mean, Tyson Fury, Frank Warren, Bob Arum, they're absolutely full of it. They're really neck and neck with Eddie Hearn at the moment in terms of who can talk the most BS. And then finally, Filip Hrgović. I'm sure he would take a Tyson Fury fight if he was offered it next. I've got no doubt that he would. But has he ever been offered it? I seriously can't see it. So, yeah, that's that. Now, there are going to be some brain donors out there. And obviously, I'm saying that facetiously, people. I understand that you can't actually donate a brain, although it would be nice if for these people if you could, right? Because they appear to not have one. But there are going to be some of these brain donors out here who say that, well, you had the Deontay Wilder trilogy that Tyson Fury had, and nobody wanted to see the third fight, but it ended up being a great fight. Yeah, but for one, there were signs in the first Fury Wilder fight that, the subsequent fights could be good because of the fact that Deontay Wilder dropped Tyson Fury twice first time around, and officially it was a draw. Derek Chisora has never been that competitive with Tyson Fury. The first fight, Fury won comfortably on the cards. The second fight, he stopped Derek Chisora. Didn't lose a round in the fight. And unlike Deontay Wilder, when he fought Fury for the first, second, and third times, Derek Chisora is not in his prime. Derek Chisora is way past his best. And that's the guy who Tyson Fury wants to fight. Tyson Fury is probably peaking about now, or he's at least close to his peak. Maybe he's a little bit past it, slightly, past his peak, but he's very close to it. Derek Chisora is way, way past his peak. I mean, way past it. That Kubrat Pulev fight where he just scraped by Pulev, I thought was a concerning performance. Even though he won the fight, his legs didn't seem to be there at all. He can't fight consistently. He can't apply consistent pressure like the Derek Chisora of old. Doesn't have the foot speed that he even had a couple years ago, like when he fought Usyk. When was that, 2019? He doesn't even have the foot speed that he had then. The Derek Chisora that we saw against Pulev, nor the Derek Chisora we saw previously against Parker, where he was getting hurt loads of times. His punch resistance is not what it used to be. His foot speed is not what it used to be. His stamina is not what it used to be. So we're seeing a diminished version of Chisora against a near peak Fury. That's what we're seeing. This is not like the Wilder trilogy at all in that regard, where Wilder was at least at his peak when Fury fought him. So this is one of the most farcical things that Tyson Fury has done thus far, is have a trilogy with Derek Chisora when there are so many far more worthy fighters out there who could, step in and fight Tyson Fury next. More worthy, with more ability, younger, fresher, with different styles. At the end of the day, Derek Chisora is not a dynamic fighter. He's a come forward pressure fighter. That's what he does. And these days, it's only in spurts. It's not like he's an Andy Ruiz with really fast counters. No, he's not that. He's not a Frank Sanchez with fast legs and fast hands who's beaten a big guy in F.A. Jagba. Of course, a Jagba's no Tyson Fury, but he's shown that he can beat bigger men. Slickster. Yeah? Derek Chisora's not that. He's not Makhmudov. Again, a young, big, strong guy comes in with heavy shots. He's not a Martin Bakole. Different style, shorter, more shot worn than Bakole. He's not a Michael Hunter, again, with the speed and the movement. He's not a Filip Hrgovic with the technique, the youth. So, again, just like I said at the start, anybody trying to defend this Tyson Fury-Derek Chisora trilogy fight is nothing other than a monumental fanboy who clearly has no ability at all and no intention of being objective. So I'll leave it there. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below.